We are the fourth. We are Florida.
It seems like just yesterday, the Marlins opened Marlins Park and the 2012 season. A year that had some ups, some downs, and some changes. Well, today is game number 162, and we'll look back at the moments and memories. The season ends today with Marlins and Mets on Fox Sports Florida.
Set to the greatest expectations.
For the final time in 2012, we've got a Wednesday showdown brought to you by Kendall Toyota and West Kendall Toyota into Marlins Park. Closing day as the Fish and the Mets finish off the 2012 season. The Marlins getting ready. A solid first year for Jose Reyes. Those two guys for the Mets had nice years as well. Gorkys Hernandez getting the start in center field. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. We welcome you to closing day. We're glad you've been with us throughout the season. Tommy, you played on a couple of postseason teams in Philadelphia. You played on some teams that were not quite great teams at the wire. What does closing day mean for both of these ball clubs?
Well, it's a couple of different things. When you're in a situation like both the Mets and the Marlins, you want to finish strong. If you have some personal goals, you want to maybe connect on those. But if you're a postseason team, there's nothing better than to look ahead at that series that you have. Now, a couple of those series have still yet to be determined in the way the postseason has gone this year. But when you're looking forward to postseason, it's a great time of year.
The Marlins, of course, are looking at the offseason, looking towards spring training. One guy who finished the game last night with the game winner has had a really nice year. And for the Marlins to get a win on a night like last night was a nice finish.
You know, at the beginning of this series, we talked about Donovan Solano with a chance to get to 300. He's struggled a little bit. He was 0 for 4 before that big base hit, the walk-off, his first career walk-off. So it was great to see Donovan Solano, who's had such a nice year since he's gotten the opportunity to play. It was great to see him get that hit.
Because of Josh Johnson's hamstring, because of an extra inning ball game, the Marlins starter is Tom Kohler. And Kohler has been terrific at the back of the bullpen. Jeremy Hefner goes for the Mets.
He's been a starter in the minor leagues, Tom Kohler. He's pitched out of the bullpen since joining the Marlins, so his first career start in the major leagues. And for Jeremy Hefner, the Marlins saw him right on this field. He pitched against the Marlins September 1st, went 6 innings, gave up just 2 runs.
It is closing day. We got lots of stuff planned for you. Our annual closing reflections, video, a look back at 2012. All of that planned here on closing day 2012 on Fox Sports Florida.
Center field, Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine. Gentlemen.
Well, Rich, thank you very much, and we've enjoyed having you in with us each and every broadcast here. Speaking for the pregame, postgame guys, Rich and Tommy. And Jeff, the season was disappointing for the Marlins, no question about it. We came here in April with a lot of excitement. The park certainly lived up to the billing. The Marlins were a little short of that this year.
Yeah, with the offseason's moves, the addition of Jose Reyes, Mark Burley, Heath Bell, the opening of a brand new stadium, I think the expectations were high. And rightfully so. I thought the Marlins had high expectations for this team, playoff contenders maybe. Yeah. And unfortunately, it just didn't work out that way. It was a bad season. A lot of moves made during the season, and the way they finished up, I thought they got some good looks at some young guys that are going to be probably in the mix for next year in spring training. They
paid with some losses for those moves, too, to get a look at these guys, but it's going to help them out in the future. 15th in runs, 13th in average. I'm going to put more of an onus on the offense here this year, although the pitching did share some of it, especially the bullpen, but the offense really was lacking.
Yeah, the pitching on the first third of the season was excellent. They were in the top probably 3 or 4 of the National League pitching in most ranks. Offensive has struggled badly, especially with runners in scoring position all year. So I agree. I think the offensive woes, which I thought was going to be one of the strong points for this team, I thought they were going to score a lot of runs.
Let's go down to Allison, her first year traveling with the ball club and joining us on more of a full-time basis. Allie, how about you?
Craig, you know, it was definitely a tough year on the field for the Marlins, and I think that trickles down to every one of us that works around this team. But I have to say, I really enjoyed my time on the road. It was nice to get to know some of these guys a little bit better, get to spend some time away from them, with them away from the field, whether it be with John Buck walking around D.C. or taking Steve Cishek to the aquarium. It was nice to get to know their personalities. And the one thing I have to say, after traveling for the bulk of this season, I have a new appreciation for the grind that is the 162 games of baseball. For the days on the road, you realize what a sacrifice at times it is for these guys being away from their families. But through it all, I have to say they were great. They were positive, professional, and I really applaud them for that, because it certainly was a difficult season at times, but they always kept their chins up, and we're just really great guys to work with.
I agree with you, Allie. We'll look for your reports during the game. Nino and I will join you Marlins Live post game as well. The final look at the 2012 season, but we got the ball game coming up, and the Marlins pull off a sweep and end on a very nice note. Rich and Tommy will detail it for you when we come back with Marlins versus Mets, game number 162. It's closing day at Marlins Park.
Pinch a penny just brought you the first pitch. Blink and you missed it. Tom Kohler's getting ready to go. Mets and Marlins, final time 2012. And Kohler misses down low. This is a little bit of a change for Kohler. Not only a haircut, but also a start. A big league start. 5 minor league seasons with the Fish and a very good minor league career. And he seems to have found his groove in the 7th of the 8th inning. As Tommy Hutton pointed out, this is a little different feel for him, starting a game, trying to stretch maybe 2, 3, 4 innings out of him rather than just one.
Well, you know, it is at the major league level. It's not as he came up in the minor leagues. In the minor leagues, primarily a starting pitcher, removed a couple of years from a 16-2 season in Double-A.
Here's the 2-1 pitch to Ruben Tejada. Fastball that misses in. Andy Fletcher's calling balls and strikes. Vic Carapazza making an appearance at first base. Mike Malinsky is out at second. Rob Drake is umpiring at third. Mets and Marlins, game 3 of the series. A fastball is cracked foul. The Fish 3-2 winners on Monday night. Nice play there. There you go. Get the seat down. There you go. Very nice. And then, of course, last night, extra innings, an 11-inning affair, and a 4-3 Marlin win. Kohler out of Stony Brook. We met the entire Stony Brook baseball team up in New York last road trip.
Met his proud coach.
And then they're a team that did themselves proud. Stony Brook, of course, storming through Miami to win that regional, then going to LSU to win that super regional, and then getting to the College World Series.
I'll tell you what, for a program like Stony Brook to win in Miami, to win in LSU, that's their World Series.
3-2 pitch coming from Kohler. Fastball right down the middle. It's smacked in the gap left center. Gorkys Hernandez in full flight, can't get it. It gets to the wall. Picking it up there is Hernandez. Tejada will stop with a double. So the Mets open with a double here in the first. Here is Terry Collins' lineup. Remember, the Mets got off to that great start, had a very good first half. Ruben Tejada, Daniel Murphy, David Wright, Ike Davis, Scott Hairston, Lucas Duda, Kelly Shopik, Andres Torres, and Jeremy Hefner gets the start and hits 90. And there is Collins. I think Terry Collins has done a very good job this year as well as last year. This year he lost 3/5 of his starting rotation. He had somewhat of an undermanned roster to begin with last year and this year. A liner, Lee's throw is not in time as Murphy got jammed and the Marlins get an out. Tejada still at second. Let's take a look at that defense after watching Carlos Lee's play.
All right, the defense, as always, brought to you by Cleveland Clinic, Florida, with Peterson, Hernandez, and Stanton in that outfield. Gil Velasquez, he's been busy ever since joining the ball club. Reyes and Solano up the middle. Carlos Lee. John Buck does the duties behind the plate.
And here is David Wright. Wright last night, a 1-for-4 night. He's driven in a couple runs in the series, a run in each game. And he's finishing off a very solid year without a lot of help around him. Not a lot of support in the lineup. Murphy in front of him, Davis behind him. Both guys have had solid years, but Wright certainly is the bat that when any team faces the Mets, the pitching coach in the pitchers meeting will say, let's not let David Wright beat us.
That's another part of the letdown for Terry Collins. He was hoping to have a Jason Bay maybe be the guy batting behind or in front of David Wright to also produce some runs.
And of course Jason Bay just suffering through a miserable season statistically. 0-2 pitch coming, and Wright drives that ball to right center field, hits it deep. Hernandez back at the track, and he makes the catch. Tagging and moving to third is Ruben Tejada. And so Kohler has a couple of outs, and now he has to face Ike Davis. News and notes around baseball. Unless you've been under a rock, you know there's great races going on in the American League. Right now, Oakland leads Texas 1-0 in the bottom of the second. Ryan Dempster's actually getting the start for Texas in that ball game. News around the Mets. General Manager Sandy Alderson acknowledging that the Mets are unlikely to pursue big-ticket free agents this winter, but that team officials will make it a priority of signing R.A. Dickey and David Wright to extensions. Both players are under contract for 2013.
And I think, Rich, the other interesting news surrounding the Mets, the news about R.A. Dickey.
Yeah, the other news today, you're right. R.A. Dickey's been pitching with a stomach injury since April. And so here's a guy that may win the Cy Young, and somewhere in April, Dickey injured his stomach to the point where he's going to have surgery here in a couple of weeks to fix it. and it flared up last night in the middle of the ball game, and he pitched with it until he came out. Remember when Terry Collins came out to check on him, and apparently Dickey told Collins, "I'll give you all I got," and he did. Dickey last night did not get a decision, gave up 3 runs, 6 innings, 7 hits. And those are the numbers that he finishes the year with. Kohler against Davis. Big breaking ball, doesn't come far enough. Now, tradition in baseball is last day, if the game has no meaning in the standings, the strike zone is big. And players are swinging. 2-2. Did he go? Yeah, that's the other tradition. Any flinch, and it's a swing. Ike Davis, not real pleased. And we apologize to all of you that can read lips out there. We're underway and scoreless. ...2012 season. And here come the Fish looking for win number 70. Brian Peterson, Gorkys Hernandez, and Jose Reyes. Giancarlo Stanton, Carlos Lee, Donovan Solano, John Buck, Gil Velasquez, Tom Kohler right now slated 9th. And Jeremy Hefner getting the start. Hefner out of Oral Roberts University.
26-year-old faced the Marlins back on September 1st right here in this ballpark and threw the ball very well. Gave up just 2 runs in his 6 innings of work and had a good outing his last time out against the Phillies. 7 shutout innings.
The Mets drafted Hefner 3 times. In 04 in the 46th round, in 05 in the 48th round, and they finally got him. Pitch misses down low. They actually didn't draft him the 3rd time. They finally had to get him after he had signed and was drafted by the Padres. So he was a guy that the Mets had their eye on for a long time.
He's a control guy, not an overpowering right-hander.
Liner into left center field. Peterson opens with a hit. Might be 2. And around first and into second, he's in there. One of the things we've learned about Marlins Park, and that all is part of this 2012 season, is that if you have speed and you hit a ball in the gap, you need to be at second base.
And that's the way this ball club needs to draw up the plan, is to utilize speed, utilize the ballpark. And hopefully we'll see that with some changes next year.
Well, I think one of the things, and you lose sight of it because over the last month and a half, he's not been around. But Emilio Bonifacio is such a big part of that. And the Marlins need him healthy, and they need him to play like he did last year, where his on-base percentage is up around 350, and he's stealing bases and causing havoc. Because Bonifacio in this ballpark is a bigger weapon than he was at the old ballpark.
Oh, he's exciting and can do a lot of things, offensively and defensively.
Here's Gorkys Hernandez. Hernandez knocked one out of here against R.A. Dickey yesterday. Bunts one, pops it up if it rolls foul, and it does. That was the Mets' only chance because Hernandez, by the time it stopped rolling, was already past first.
Similar situation the Mets had, leadoff double. They weren't able to get their run over to third until there were 2 out. So Gorkys, with his job, he's trying to move Peterson over to third and give Jose Reyes a shot.
Hernandez' home run came in the 4th inning. On Monday night, Gorkys was 3 for 3, including a triple. Peterson is open with a double. You got Reyes and then Stanton waiting to face Hefner. Hefner off the mound, throws to third. A sweep tag is in time, and the Marlins fail to move Peterson to third. Nice play by Hefner, who got off the mound and made a terrific throw to right.
It's a very good play. I didn't think he had a shot. I'm sure he got some help from his catcher. And he makes a perfect throw with Wright getting back. David Wright, the third baseman, he's thinking bunt. Well, he has to get back to cover the bag and gets the tag right down on Peterson.
He almost got Rob Drake as he swung the glove up and was really surprised at how close Drake was at the end of that play.
Now you'd look for Gorkys to take off and try to get into scoring position as soon as possible.
Reyes at 287. A slow start for Reyes. Admittedly, Reyes saying in the first couple months of the season he put a little too much pressure on himself, tried to do too much. Pops that one into shallow center. Torres comes charging on, and he makes the catch.
And here's the defense for the Mets, brought to you by Cleveland Clinic. Duda, Torres, and Hairston in their outfield. David Wright and Tejada, Murphy and Ike Davis. Talked about Kelly Shopik behind the plate. The outfield is an area that the Mets will be looking into next season. They need to get a little more production out of their outfield.
Giancarlo Stanton now, the 37 home runs, second highest Marlin total, and 86 runs driven in. And Hernandez is back in. Stanton last night had a couple of hits, including a line drive out. He homered on Monday night. And he fouls it back. Giancarlo going with that sleeve on the right arm, but it's not the red-orange sleeve. He's going with the blue.
I think it accentuates the color. Oh no, it sounded like a clothes designer, but it does. It's a nice accentuation of the blue in the jersey.
Well, of course, the sleeve all started a couple years ago when Stanton had arm issues in spring training, a sore arm. He went to the compression sleeve, and he found that it made his arm feel better, and it helps keep that hand dry. And so he stayed with it. He said, hey, if it made my arm feel better, I'm sticking with it.
Well, a 7-game hitting streak, and he's done a little bit of everything after missing 9 games.
High pop up. Tejada looking up and calling for it and catching it. And so Kohler and Hefner both pitch around leadoff doubles. By Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer today for great deals on Toyota vehicles. Toyota, moving forward. By AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. And by Papa John's, for $10, get Papa John's Buffalo Chicken Pizza. Or for $2 more, get any large pizza. Coventry Healthcare second. Scoreless game. Tom Kohler getting his first big league start.
You know, one thing, Rich, I know you and I agree on this. Certainly the season on the field didn't go the way we thought, the way most Marlins fans thought. But for us to come here and work in this beautiful ballpark for all these home games, just absolutely spectacular.
Without a doubt, this is the coolest ballpark in baseball right now. Fastball and a strike. And what an incredibly different work environment for players, for broadcasters, for ballpark employees, vendors, and obviously for fans. We've heard from fans throughout in terms of dining options, comfort, the air condition, the Clevelander, the invention of camera 12. Here's the 1-1. Bouncer. That guy's made 2 plays.
That gives the little kid that one.
Yeah, that's nice. He's made 2 plays down there at third base.
I think he told the kid after the first one, "Don't worry, kid, I'll get another one. You can have the second one." I wonder if he can hit.
Hairston is up. Lucas Duda and Kelly Shopik will follow. And a breaking ball from Kohler is in the dirt. David Sampson last night on the telecast said one of the things the Marlins will do in the offseason is replace the playing surface. And a fastball, and Kohler gets it by Hairston. And it just seems like yesterday that the Cardinals were here and the Marlins opened Marlins Park. Tommy, how come we didn't get an escort like that into the booth?
Could have had an escort like that up to our booth. It would have been a nice touch. The cake that was baked that looked like Marlins Park.
The first retractable roof cake ever made. Gil Velasquez there, and he makes the catch.
You made a good point, Rich, by the way, with the workers. The workers, the people we encounter as we come in and out of the ballpark have been just fantastic all year.
Walking the concourse has been a fun thing to do. Every now and then we'll go down an hour before game time and walk around the ballpark. And just a reminder of how cool the place is. The Bobblehead Museum, the team store down there, out to the Budweiser balcony.
Over to Taste of Miami.
Yes, even out in that center field area where the pregame show is set up. I love the touch of the starting lineup. Their photos up on the posts. And so when you walk in the ballpark, you know right away who's playing and who's hitting in what spot. Kelly Shopik up. 2 outs in a scoreless game in the second. And the Clevelander. I mean, who would have thought? I mean, I know last year we were talking about the new ballpark. We knew there was going to be a pool out there. And we knew that there was going to be some sort of a club or, parties and such. But who knew that the Clevelander would turn out to be such a hot spot, both during the game and after the games? Tommy and I got a great taste of it when we had our Fox Sports Florida fantasy auction.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun out there broadcasting the game right under the 386 sign.
Shopik takes down low. Andres Torres is on deck. Mets and Marlins. The Mets have dominated this series not this individual series, but the season series. The Marlins making up some ground, winning the first 2 of this 3-game set. Stan's going deep. He's at the wall, and he makes the catch. And Shopik hits a deep fly ball out. Bottom of the second, scoreless. H. Gray. Camera 12 on our final telecast of 2012. Scoreless ball game. Mets and Marlins. If you're thinking about 2013, and we obviously already are, you can place a deposit and secure your seats at Marlins Park for that 2013 season. Flexible and easy payment options. Get the best seats available and take advantage of the new season ticket rewards plus program, giving you the option to exchange unused tickets for merchandise, VIP experiences, and more. 1-877 Marlins. The pride of Oral Roberts University, Jeremy Hefner back to work against Carlos Lee, and El Caballo grounds one to David Wright. He straightens up and throws across the diamond. There's an out. Before Solano gets up here, let's scout Mr. Hefner.
Yeah, one of the things we always like to do in the scouting report, always brought to you by Coventry Healthcare. Needs to have command, not overpowering. His cutter and slider, sometimes you don't know which is which. And as we've seen, he likes to work quickly.
I was hoping you were going to put not related to Hugh.
Not related to Hugh. But an open invitation to the mansion anytime he goes to L.A.
Solano up now. Now, Donovan Solano is at 294. And he finished last night, obviously, with a base hit. He ended the game with a single. 1 for 8 in this series. And he sends that one out in the center. Torres is there, and he makes the catch. And an 0 for 1 for Solano. And so 300 is probably out of his reach after that AB.
Yeah, just 2 for his last 13 now. You know what? 290, not too bad. And, you know, he had his eyes set. I'm sure he was thinking about it when this series began on getting to 300 and staying over. I think he was at 299 when this series started.
John Buck now. Texas has opened up a can of 5-1 in Oakland. And that game is going to the bottom of the third. Buck pops it up, and Tejada's there, and he makes the catch. And Hefner goes 1-2-3 through the fish in the second. working against the Mets. The Marlins and the Mets finishing off the 2012 season. Now, postseason picks. Everybody had to lob in their postseason picks. Tommy Hutton has the Rangers over the Nationals, and his National League MVP is Buster Posey. His Cy Young is R.A. Dickey. He goes with Miggy and David Price. It's a fine-looking photo of you, Tommy Hutton.
Thanks, you. Taken a few years ago, so still look reasonably young. But I would go Rangers over Nationals because of experience.
Those are the Rangers were the Washington Nationals at one point, right? Long ago.
So it would make for some interesting stories.
They were the Washington Senators. Wasn't Ted Williams their manager?
He was their manager. They had spring training up in Pompano Beach.
Andres Torres, Jeremy Hefner, and Ruben Tejada in the third. Game's moving along quickly. Pitchers throwing strikes. Guys swinging the bat. That one's hit well. Right field and deep. Stanton turns and looks, and that one is gone. Off the facing of the home run porch. Andres Torres, just his third home run of the season, and the Mets have grabbed a 1-0 lead.
That may have even found the first or second row and then bounced back onto the playing field. But Andres Torres, for a guy who's only hit 2, that one number 3, he had a no-doubter. It's like he got a fastball. Boy, right in that good hitting zone for a left-hander. They love that pitch down in that area. See if it gets over. Yeah, it gets like the second row and then came back to Stanton.
So Hefner comes to the plate. Now he's got a 1-0 lead. And Kohler throws a strike at the knees. The Marlins bullpen after Kohler is kind of a work in progress. See who's available, see how the game goes. Carlos Zambrano, a guy that we talked about last night as possibly soaking up multiple innings, does not sound like he's available tonight.
He has some soreness in his knee. It's been bothering him for a while, so you have to scratch Zambrano off that list of possible pitchers out of the bullpen.
Marlins went to the bullpen last night and Monday night extensively.
I mean, we could see Chad Godin, even though he came in and got the win last night. He just worked an inning.
Hefner, a fly ball, long run, and it's going to fall for a base hit. Peterson was over towards left center, but he was pretty deep for Hefner. So Hefner a hit. Interactive poll brought to you by All My Sons Moving and Storage. We thank them for their support all year. What are you looking forward to seeing next season? Stanton breaking out. He pretty much broke out this year. A dominating Josh Johnson, a healthy Lomo and Bonifacio, off-season moves, Brantley, Evaldi, and Turner. Tommy, if I were to pick one, I would go M3.
You're right with me. I was thinking the same thing.
To me, that is the most important thing for the Marlins next year, and that is that Morrison's healthy and at first base, and that Bonifacio is healthy and either in center and second and is stealing bases and all that. Velasquez starts it, Solano bounces it, Lee picks it up, and that's how you get a 5-4-3 double play. Not a picture of beauty, but it gets the job done.
Yeah, you could have a dominant or a breakout Giancarlo. He could hit 45 home runs, but if those other guys aren't healthy, you're kind of in the same boat. So, yeah, I'm with you on that one.
And we've seen Josh Johnson have a dominant season, and that wasn't enough to get the Marlins over the hump.
Solano couldn't get the good grip as he made that transfer with the throw. I'm sure he didn't think about one hopping it that way, but he got some help from Carlos Lee.
Here's Daniel Murphy. He lined out his first time up. Healthy Morrison gives you some protection for Stanton. It gives you some left-handed pop. A healthy Bonifacio gives you that speed and that element that you need in this ballpark. Andres Torres with a leadoff homer, and the Mets have a 1-0 lead.
Question for a lot of the Marlins is what to do next, and while a lot of the guys will head home for manager Ozzie, he will do something he does every year when he's not in the postseason, and that is head to Spain to watch some bullfighting. He'll be just outside of Madrid. The sport obviously very popular there, and Ozzie, a huge bullfighting fan. He has an entire room in his home in Venezuela dedicated to the sport. He said he goes about every year. I think he'll be able to catch like 5 bullfights while he's there, and Ricky Nolasco and Giancarlo Stanton, who are also doing a trip to Europe, I think will stop by and see their manager there. Obviously, some questions about Ozzie's future here with the organization, but he said regardless, he will be on that plane to Spain tomorrow. Guys.
All right, thank you, Allison.
It's a great conversation, by the way, when you engage Ozzie, and I know Allison was down there yesterday. You engage him in talking about bullfighting. I mean, he knows about the matadors. He was talking about the picadors and the salaries that these guys make. He really loves it.
I wonder if for the picadors they have salary arbitration.
He said the picadors are selected by the matador. A really good matador depends a lot on a very good picador. And so a lot of times they'll kind of go hand in hand.
So the matador is like the starting pitcher. The picador is like the closer.
Closer, the setup guy.
Tom Kohler swings and misses, and he strikes out. What's going on in Oakland right now? Well, the Texas Rangers have a 5-1 lead in the top of the 4th inning. It's been a sloppy day so far for the Athletics, who have tied the Rangers. These two teams have played 161 games, and here they are tied for the top spot in the West. Whoever loses that game, Tico, the People's Gas, bring you the standings. Whoever loses that game is into the wild card game. And not sure who they're going to play yet, because obviously with the Yankees and the Orioles a game back, hopeful that they can pick up that game and force a 1-game winner take all for the division. Loser goes to the wild card game.
Which you and I were talking before the game. I heard an interesting conversation that obviously the Orioles want to win. They want to win the division, but in a way it could help them if they lose and play that wild card game.
7-pitch inning. That after a 5-pitch one from Hefner. of the West. The losers into the wild card game. The winner advances and would probably would get Detroit. And then the wild card winner would get the Yankees. Over in the National League, the Nationals and the Reds are still jockeying for best record. The Giants have been waiting for some time. And the Braves are set up nicely as the Cardinals clinching with the loss by the Dodgers to the Giants last night. So it's Atlanta and St. Louis in that wild card game on the 5th.
So right now, Atlanta and St. Louis know who they're playing.
Cleveland Clinic 4th. Tom Kohler gave up a home run to Andres Torres. He gets David Wright, Ike Davis, and Scott Hairston.
And by the way, in Pittsburgh today, the Braves playing the Pirates. That game's over. Braves won that game 4-0. Chipper Jones with a pinch hit appearance and ended his career in regular season. Got himself a base hit.
I did not know Ben Sheets was going to retire. But Sheets threw an inning and has called it a career. Gorky's Hernandez. Got it! Great catch by Hernandez.
And you know he was playing deep with David Wright, the hitter. And this ball had a little sink to it. Gorky's coming after it and gets it in the webbing and keeps it there.
Yes, he does. He dragged the glove, the fingers of the glove, but the ball was deep up near the palm and away from the ground. That's a terrific catch. You know what? He can really play center field. He can run. If he can figure out how to get on base, Tommy, at a decent clip, he can play in the big leagues.
No question about that. And to get back to your Ben Sheets comment, he worked so hard to get himself back, but he did come out and say unequivocally he is retiring. And today he started that game, went 1 inning. It was his last appearance.
Ike Davis struck out back in the first. A 1-1 pitch from Kohler. This is the time, I think, for Kohler now, as he's up at 44 pitches, where I think the Marlins will keep a close watch on him. He hasn't really been stretched out this far since he was down in Double-A starting. He's been being used in a short role.
I think it'll be one of those things we'll find out in the spring from the organization. Where do you see, how do you see Tom Kohler?
It's a fair ball. Ike Davis has himself extra bases. Peterson picks it up. It's the 4th, and it's our final AT&T trivia question. We flip the phone. Stony Brook Seawolves, 2 players have made it to the major leagues. Tom Kohler and...
Well, I think if you've been listening to us when we had the Stony Brook coach on in New York, there were mentions of this other player. He's a relief pitcher.
That ball's hammered left field and deep. Scott Hairston has hit it out. His 20th. And that was a monster shot. Hairston's had a real nice year for the Mets.
Boy, he has. He has not been an everyday player, but pretty much. He's one of those guys you can use him 4 or 5 days a week at different spots, and to put together 20 home runs, he's going to finish about 265 on the year, and that ball was crushed.
You know, he's the type of guy that Oakland has been using to make their run. Guys like Hairston, who instead of getting 500 at bats are getting 325, 350 at bats and hitting 20 home runs. The Brendan Mosses, guys like that. Hairston 374 at bats and now 20 home runs, 57 driven in. Lucas Duda pulls that one foul. Lucas Duda had a good first half. Was faded a bit.
Actually, at one point, was sent back to Buffalo to AAA.
Duda gets into one. Center field. Hernandez makes the catch. Tommy, today was our final day with Jason Jackson on 790 The Ticket. And he's not only getting ready for his Reds and the postseason, he's getting ready for the Miami Heat's 2012 preseason opener. Sun Sports will cover it. Matchup between the world champion Miami Heat and the Southeast Conference rival Atlanta Hawks. 2 p.m. on Sunday on Sun Sports, where Heat fans live. Shopik, a bullet, and Velasquez makes the catch. Another home run. This one a 2-run shot and a 3-0 lead for the Mets. LifeUSA.com and by Coventry Healthcare of Florida, lighting the way to better health. In Miami, final day of the 2012 season, 3-0. Mets on top. Let's check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Rich, thank you. With Sean Flynn, Senior Vice President of Marketing and Special Events for the Marlins. Year number 1 coming to a close. The Marlins IU Don program, though, will keep on going. The volunteer program, Sean, continues even after the baseball season.
We just continue plugging away. The IU Don program is a corporate-wide, company-wide initiative. You know, basically, Jeffrey Lurie and David Sampson decided to send the troops out into the community and really do days of service. We've broken the organization up into, I think, 14 teams. Everybody in the organization is assigned to a team, and teams go out and do 4 to 5 events per year. Plus, we do 2 company-wide days of service a year, and we touch all kinds of organizations, not-for-profit groups, charitable groups, anybody, you name it, from humane societies to Boys and Girls Clubs and beyond.
You guys will be busy. A couple other things coming here. World Baseball Classic, which we've talked about quite a bit, is coming.
Yeah, the World Baseball Classic is coming back. If you remember, in 2009, we had the second round of the World Baseball Classic. It was a great time over at Sun Life. Yeah. It's going to be a better time here in March of 2013. The second round will take place here from March 11th through the 15th. Tickets aren't on sale yet, but the information is on Marlins.com. Look for updates. Tickets should go on sale soon. Our season ticket holders will probably get first opportunity at that. And then individual tickets will go on sale. I'm looking at November, probably early December. And again, that could be a pool like it was in 2009. It could have a Venezuela, a Dominican Republic, a Puerto Rico, a USA, or a Mexico. So we'll have a great lineup here.
Now, soccer is coming to Marlins Park. Venezuela and Nigeria in November, part of the FIFA friendlies. Will the field go, if you will, across the diamond out to right field, do you know, or is it going to go in this direction?
Actually, the field will run from one goal will be right where our dugout is on the third base line, and we'll run across the field. Basically, the touch line of soccer will be the first base foul line, and we'll run right out to right field, and it'll stretch kind of into center. So that'll be the configuration, and we should have a ton of soccer this offseason.
That ball is stroked well, but again stays in the ballpark, caught in right field by Hairston. Venezuela and Nigeria is going to create quite a stir.
The first match is Venezuela and Nigeria. It's on an international friendly date of November 14th. And both Venezuela and Nigeria are in critical qualifying competitions in their regions. Venezuela down in the tough South American region with Argentina and Uruguay and Colombia, and then obviously Nigeria's in Africa, and there's always a tough qualifying group there. So these friendly dates are critical. Both teams have committed to send their A teams. So on November 14th, we're going to have some first-class, world-class. Tickets are going on sale on Monday. Season ticket holders have the opportunity to purchase now on Monday, October 8th, this Monday coming up at 10 a.m. Tickets will be on sale.
Last question, are they going to put some stands on in the outfield on this side?
We're looking at different options. We're probably going to bring in some bleachings on the left field side because we'll have a little bit of a gap, or some hospitality areas as well. So there'll be some hospitality, all-inclusive spots, which would be a good place to watch a soccer game.
Rich and Tommy, no doubt the Budweiser bar would be a good spot. And the only reason we're here is the camera angle was a little better from this angle.
This actually will be the broadcast angle for soccer. We're going to shoot from here. You're going to actually, this will be where the camera
They didn't
angle
believe
is.
us.
So you're right here above midfield looking right down.
That's right.
Hey, Craig.
One more, please, sir. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. We still on?
Will the home run feature go off, the home run sculpture go off on a goal?
Will the home run sculpture go off on a goal?
Yes. Of course it will.
For both teams?
For both teams. We're home for everyone. Of course, I would assume we'll have a largely dominated Venezuelan crowd.
You would think, yeah.
Not sure there's many Nigerians in this market, but hey, there's a lot that could come and watch their team play.
All right, guys. Thanks, Sean, for your time all year long, okay?
Hey, guys, we're looking forward to it. We'll see you in the spring, but we're going to keep busy. We'll have that soccer match, a couple others on the horizon. Marlins.com for all your needs. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, good. All right, Rich.
We need to do a broadcast next year from the Budweiser balcony.
I'm just thinking
I'm
that.
up for that, yeah.
I'm just thinking that. All right, the Stony Brook Seawolf question with Tom Kohler making the start. Two have made it to the big leagues.
Guy's a good closer.
Joe Nathan. Giancarlo Stanton pops it up back behind the bag. And I'll tell you what, Jeremy Hefner is speed pitching his way through this ballgame. Action of the world's premier international baseball tournament. Many of Major League Baseball's greatest stars will compete for their home countries. For more information, go to worldbaseballclassic.com. Little Guitar Hero out there. Subway fifth, 3-0 Mets on top. Just for Men, Keep Your Edge Spotlights, our final one of the season. 13 of his last 15. Giancarlo, 7 home runs. He's given the Marlins an edge. You can keep your edge with Just for Men mustache and beard. Carlos Lee is there and makes the catch. In Oakland, Coco Crisp with a 2-run double, and the A's have come all the way back to tie the Rangers at 5-5. That game's only in the 4th, and that's to decide the American League West on the final day of the season.
Boy, they're rocking and rolling at the Coliseum right now. Ryan Dempster started for Texas. He's out of the game.
That's right. And Derek Holland is in now for the Rangers.
Came in to pitch to Crisp.
The Rangers were talking the other day about, hey, we're all set. Yu Darvish is going to be our Game 1 pitcher for the postseason. Well, guess what? He may be the wild card Game 1 pitcher. And nobody around the Rangers was thinking about that a week ago.
They had about a 13-game lead a while back.
But the Oakland Coliseum is just a madhouse right now. Kohler turns, and Hefner takes outside. 1-2 the count.
I heard I hope I get this right. I heard a great stat the other day about parity in baseball since 2000. And if you count this year's postseason teams, since 2000, there are only 3 teams that have not gotten to postseason.
We'll give you those 3 after this Subway Sub Prize on the line. It's the American League East. The Yankees, a 1-game lead. Baltimore a game back. Baltimore against the Rays. Yankees against Boston. Late games tonight.
Actually, it's a pretty good trivia question. The 3 teams since 2000 that have not gotten to postseason. That'll be our extra AT&T trivia question today.
That tells me that you were listening to Oakland's broadcast on the way. The same question. Well, you count Baltimore.
You count Baltimore because they're in this year.
Right. So the teams that have made it this year, you count.
You count. So Pittsburgh's a pretty obvious choice.
Kansas City.
Kansas City. The one that was a surprise, Toronto.
Tejada into left field. Peterson picks it up. Stay tuned later in the game for a sneak peek at Liam Neeson's new action film, Taken 2.
We were just happy that your old partner Ken Korak was doing his homework and giving us some information.
Ken Korak is one of the best radio play-by-play announcers in the big leagues and has been loving life with the Athletics. And he also reads this once again. This copyright telecast presented by the authority of the Miami Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins.
Now, so far, Tom Kohler hanging in there, and I think commendable just for the fact that he got the call late because of the way the game went last night. He's come out, he's thrown strikes. Right now, Chad Godin looks like he's loosening in the Marlins bullpen.
You got Murphy up there, who was 0 for 2. With Tejada at first, he has a couple of hits. Kohler misses outside. Yeah, for a guy like Kohler, you would ideally like your first big league start to be in a spot where you have been starting. But you know what? He'll take it. Just getting to the big leagues for him this year was a big step.
And Jeremy Hefner's been unbelievable. 38 pitches in his 4 innings.
A strike to Murphy. There's 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. You're right about the parity in baseball, and you've got to like the fact that smaller market teams that don't have the huge revenues, Baltimore, Oakland, have been able to break through this year. There's a strike.
Good pitch there by Kohler.
Ozzie again watching, counts full. Tejada will be on the move from first. 6 hits for the Mets. Marlins have just 1. Good breaking ball, and that struck him out. Down goes Murphy. Kohler ends the 5th with a strikeout. The Mets a 3-0 lead halfway through at Marlins Park. Raul, my partner Tommy Hutton has prepared a statement for you.
Cookie, Raul, mejor suerte el próximo año.
Efectivamente, Tommy, estamos contigo.
You're right. Hey, your Spanish is getting better there, Tommy.
Hey, gracias, Cookie.
You go to Rosetta
Stone.
I got it right in front of me. But, yeah, there's Justin Turner going in. But, boy, it's got to be an upswing after this year. A lot of disappointments.
Well, I agree with you. I think that next year will be maybe definitely a good one. And we have to forget about what happened this year and just to look at the good, positive things that happen and go from there.
All right. Here's another question for you. Our poll question today, All My Sons Moving and Storage poll question, had to deal with what are you looking for next year? If you had to pick the most important thing off this list, we'll show it to you again, what would it be?
Well, I would say that number one, you want to see the status of JJ, your number one pitcher, supposed, to be getting better and better every time that he's been out this year. And his health means quite a lot to our ball club. There's no question about it. And then the health of Bonifacio, I think, is very, very important for this ball club also. And, of course, as Stanton, to have a great year like he did this year. But we have to find somebody behind Stanton for next year in the lineup.
Well, I was Cookie left some left over for me there on the poll, but the last one I think is I think for me important in the sense that based on whatever happens with those young guys, then you know what else you need to fill in the rest of the lineup and the pitching staff. So I think look at what happened with Oakland this year. They weren't supposed to be competing for a playoff spot, and they just took a lead against the Rangers, and they have a young core of young players that. It's something that Sampson mentioned, I believe, in 2003, right? You have to outperform your contracts, and that's what they got.
Donovan Solano taps it down the third base side. We both chose the third option, and that is healthy Bonifacio, healthy Morrison.
Which one do you think is more important, Morrison or Bonifacio?
Morrison.
Yeah, it's a tough call, but just Morrison so he can give some protection to Stanton.
How about you, Cookie?
Well, I would say Bonifacio. I think this is a spark plug in center field, covers a lot of ground, steals a lot of bases, and he's just a spark plug for our ball club. And I think that him and Reyes being back-to-back means a heck of a lot with his speed, but we have to have the power like Stanton had this year and have someone behind him that can do the same.
Let's hope that they're both healthy next year.
Key.
And it's been nice to see Jose Reyes have a healthy season. He's been healthy all year.
He's performed very well in every department. You know, fielding, hitting, stealing bases, running, and playing a happy game. You know, he's been happy with what he has done, and you can notice that. You know, that's all you want to see, a guy give 100%, and I think Jose Reyes has done that without a doubt.
All right, guys. Terrific year. Thank you for everything. It's always fun to visit with you, and we'll see you in spring training next year.
Same to you guys. Yes, have a great winter.
Thanks, guys. Well, I tell you, it's always great to talk baseball with Cookie Rojas when we get a chance up here in the press area.
Cookie is a no-nonsense baseball man who had a terrific playing career, coaching career, and now broadcasting career.
You know, we forgot to ask Cook. The last few years, he's done a little postseason work on radio. I know he worked with longtime Dodger Hall of Fame broadcaster Jaime Harim.
Fastball misses in, and Solano walks. There's no better way to stay connected, especially in the offseason with the Marlins, than through the team's official social media channels. You can join the official Marlins conversation, be the first to receive breaking news, special offers, free prizes, and more. Like the Marlins at Facebook.com/Marlins. Follow the Marlins at Twitter.com/Marlins. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton, our crack staff. John Sulzer is our producer and has been for some time. Jim Hawley, likewise, our director. Ken Lee, our graphics coordinator. At the end of our broadcast day on Marlins Live, it's a tradition on closing day that we bring you the highlights and maybe a few of the lowlights and some of the bloopers of 2012. Set to music. The world's most dangerous tape room has been busy for the last week getting ready for it. And then you'll have a chance to see all the names and maybe a few of the faces of the folks behind the camera, in the truck, working hard.
You mean you and I have had bloopers?
Yes, we have. Here's Buck. Pitch is up. By the way, that game in Oakland, Josh Hamilton dropped a routine fly ball and allowed 2 runs to score. And Oakland, that's how they're on top by a score of 7-5. Now, as that fly ball goes down the right field line, having grown up there, I can tell you that the sun in day games in Oakland is not easy. And the A's have already dropped a pop-up, a routine pop-up in that game. Actually, Oakland's dropped 2 of them, one at short and one at behind the plate. And Hamilton just dropped one in straightaway center.
You and I are privy to catching a little bit of that telecast, and a very animated conversation between innings between Ron Washington and Josh Hamilton.
Throw behind the runner. Solano's back in.
I don't think it was quite Billy Martin, Reggie Jackson type, but it was a serious conversation.
Solano down there. Marlins trying to get going against Jeremy Hefner, who's been downright stifling. Just a hit. As Tommy pointed out, he's done it on an economy of pitches. 55 pitches. And it seems like he's thrown more pitches here in the bottom of the 5th than he had the first 4 innings combined.
Yeah, he has. Almost. It seems like it. Justin Turner, by the way, has moved in to play third base for the Mets. 24 pitches through the first 3 innings. Since that time, he's thrown 32.
Buck swings and misses. Yesterday, after the walk-off, John Buck and Donovan Solano recreating that scene from Dirty Dancing. With Solano playing the role
there it is.
of Jennifer Grey. And John Buck being Patrick Swayze.
I don't think Patrick Swayze got the cut on the forehead, though. John Buck wearing the remnants of a cut on his forehead today.
Gil Velasquez takes a strike.
They were having the time of their life.
Good one. Velasquez takes strike 2. Solano still at first. Hefner in control. And there's a uncharacteristic bouncer in the dirt. Tommy's talking about John Buck in that scrum. You can see the little dash in his forehead.
Yeah, right there. You can see a little bit. Boys will be boys.
By the way, I don't know if we announced this the other night. Teddy Roosevelt finally won a race.
He had a little intervention. It was a full fanatic that came out and helped him out a little bit. That was today.
Was that today?
Yeah, it ended a 525 consecutive loss streak. So congrats to Teddy.
It's just the latest in a streak of unprecedented success for the Nationals. Oh, we've got it. Look at the scoreboard. Look at how badly Teddy has fared, not only this year, but.
And he's way behind. He's way behind. But he makes up a little ground. We'll give you that.
Velasquez pops it into right, and Hairston is there, and he makes the catch. Marlins go down in the 5th. Jeremy Hefner shutting out the Fish. Kendall Toyota, Mets and Marlins. Jeremy Hefner is shutting out the Fish. Donnie Murphy's into the ball game in a double switch as Chad Gaudin comes out of the bullpen.
So that race called nicely by our good friend Bob Carpenter.
One of the good guys.
Nationals TV.
One of the good guys in television in Major League Baseball. Justin Turner. David Wright's season is over. He comes out of the ball game having gone 0 for 2.
Well, he ends his season a .306 batting average, 21 home runs, 93 RBIs. Not to mention 41 doubles for David Wright.
So Gaudin's first hitter, Turner's first AB, and a fastball that misses down low. One of the storylines going into this last day is Miguel Cabrera and the Triple Crown. Right now he is in the Tigers starting lineup. Hop up. El Caballo is in there and he makes the catch. Cabrera is hitting third, playing third. He begins the day leading the American League in batting average, home runs, and RBIs.
Well, he has played in 160 games. This will be 161. There were some that were even questioning if Jim Leland elected to sit him today. He played last night. He had a couple of hits to get that batting average to 331. Even if he doesn't play today, Josh Hamilton would have to hit a couple of home runs in Oakland to overtake him in that department.
Ike Davis into the corner, and Ike Davis hits one out. Opposite field. Even Davis is looking up to see if it bounced out or went out, and that thing went out. The Mets have hit 3 home runs. Davis, Scott Hairston, and Andres Torres.
Well, and Davis gets to a nice number. The home run gives him 32. The RBI gives him 90 on the year. And he got off to an awful start. He's hit so much better on the road. 21 of his 32 home runs have been on the road.
Of course, like cold hard blast. Mets, not a team known for the long ball, have 3 of them here on the last day of the season. And Gaudin's fastball for a strike. The iconic wooden cap squarely on the head of Scott Hairston. Born in Fort Worth, of course. His grandfather played in the big leagues. His dad played in the big leagues. His brother plays in the big leagues.
Interesting note on Ike Davis. There are only four other Met players in their history that have hit 20 or more home runs on the road. Carlos Beltran a couple of times. Howard Johnson, Dave Kingman, Mike Piazza, and we'll throw in Todd Hundley. We'll throw in 5. That's quite a feat.
Here's Lucas Duda. Our statistician and baseball historian John Chimchak, an authority not only on Marlins history but most things Mets as well. Gaudin got a piece of it, and Murphy can't make the play. And had Gaudin not gotten a piece, Reyes probably makes that play, but you don't know that as a pitcher. Gaudin, a very good athlete, would have liked to have grabbed it himself and made the play.
You know, obviously you know the positioning, and even if you do the reactions, you're an athlete, you react, you think you're going to make the play, and just by deflecting it, Duda gets the base hit.
Now Shopik. Yeah, Trout is 7 points back in the batting race. Godin finishes it. 4-0 Mets. We promised here's a sneak peek of Liam Neeson's new action film, Taken 2, in theaters Friday. Three homers from the Mets. Let's check in with Allison Williams. A-Dub?
Well, we mentioned early manager Ozzie and a few players are heading out of the country after the final game of the year, but some other Marlins players just heading home. And you would think, hey, you know, they're wealthy guys. They're going to travel in the lap of luxury back to their homes, but not the case. Mark Buehrle packing up his truck, hitching on his trailer with all of his bikes and toys and driving to Missouri. His brother and a buddy in town to help him make the trek. About 20 hours, he said, to his place in Missouri. And Rob Brantley making the drive from here to California, guys. I told him he is absolutely crazy, but he said he's done the drive a few times and it's not that bad. I don't know, that's a long time to spend in a car, but he's doing the drive as well across country. So a couple of the guys getting in their cars and heading home.
That one's headed in the gap. Donnie Murphy's first at bat, and he doubles to left center field. Miami has 2 hits, and they're both doubles. Peterson opened the game with a double. Murphy opens the 6th with a double. Let's freeze something, shall we? It's the 6th inning. It's our job. It's what we do. Oh, yeah, this is the guy who's made 2 real nice plays. That was the first. Now watch who gets this one. There you go.
Hey, nothing to it.
Yeah, he goes well to his left.
Hey, I have to tell Allison, 1 year finishing the season in Montreal, I was going to drive my car from Montreal back to California, Southern California, and I flew a buddy of mine, good buddy of mine, in just to go along for the ride. We had the greatest time. We drove through the United States, drove through a couple of states we'd never been through, had a great steak in Omaha, ended the trip in Vegas.
Nice play out there at second base, robbing Brian Peterson of a hit. Daniel Murphy picked it. Peterson does move the runner up, but he was thinking base hit, maybe RBI on this.
Yeah, good play by, you know, the times that we've seen Daniel Murphy, I know he has his downsides defensively as a second baseman, but the times that we've seen him, he's looked pretty good out there.
He reminds me of Dan Uggla 3-4 years ago. You know, Uggla not really as bad as his reputation, but certainly not a Gold Glover. Gorkys Hernandez takes a breaking ball for a strike. Miami trying to get on the board here in the bottom of the 6th, trailing 4-0. Our Toyota trend when hitting 2 or more home runs, the Marlins 23-12, 10-4 at Marlins Park. Gorky's into left field. And Hernandez has an RBI hit. Miami is on the board. It's 4-1.
Five hits in his last 11 at-bats for Gorky Hernandez. Boy, made a nice catch in today's game, too.
Reyes now. Hefner kind of stumbled after delivering that pitch. And it's 0-1. Jeremy Hefner, 71 pitches. 47 of them have been strikes. A ball and a strike. It's the top of the sixth in Oakland, and Oakland has an 8-5 lead over the Texas Rangers. That would be one of the great comebacks in baseball history if Oakland beats Texas today and wins the West.
How about the fact that the Athletics have 5 rookies in their starting rotation?
That's why, and I think I've been on this for the last couple months. To me, Bob Melvin is the manager of the year in the American League. I know Buck Showalter's done a wonderful job, but Melvin has platooned at a lot of spots. He's had a young rotation out there and not out there. Tejada got hung up on a nice slide by Hernandez. Reyes beats it.
Yeah, Buck Showalter's probably the more popular pick, the more sexy pick, as you hear more recently about the Orioles, and certainly people have heard about Buck Showalter over the years, but you're starting to convince me. You're starting to convince me on Bob Melvin.
I mean, 5 rookies in the rotation. And
you'd be hard pressed to name guys in their lineup, but you could say that about the Orioles too, though.
That's true. Giancarlo Stanton has popped up twice. And he takes a fastball up. Stanton sitting on 37 homers, 86 driven in. That average at 290 is significant. Stanton has maintained since he got to the big leagues. He wants to be known as a good hitter, not just a power hitter. Reyes is running, and Stanton fouls it back. And it's 1-1. All right, Tommy, we heard your picks. Here are mine. I think the Atlanta Braves are going to get hot, and I think the Atlanta Braves are going to win the World Series. I'm with you on the MVP, Buster Posey. Tip of the cap to the Seminoles. R.A. Dickey, Cy Young. I think the fact that he pitched on a sub-500 team and put up incredible numbers gets him the award. Miguel Cabrera in a real close race, just edging out Mike Trout. And David Price is my Cy Young Award winner.
And Jared Weaver's going to get some votes. Jim Johnson, 51 saves with the Orioles. He's going to get some votes. Yeah, Stanton last year, Rich, hit 262, but he takes pride. He told us, back in spring training, that he does not want to be known as one of those all-or-nothing guys that strikes out 200 times and hits 230. He wants to be a good hitter. Michael Bourne, by the way, stole a couple of bases in that Braves game against the Pirates. He only had 1 AB, so he's at 42.
Of course, Everett Cabrera has made a late run at the stolen base crown. He's at 43. Head first slide, and Reyes is in there.
Just to see Jose Reyes flying, running well here on the last day of the season, having been healthy all year. That's a beautiful thing. Stolen base number 40 for Reyes. Never tagged him.
That's a good call by Mike Malinsky, the second base umpire. The movie Taken 2 brings you bases taken, stolen base leaders on this final day. Cabrera at 43, Bourne at 40, Reyes now at 40. Victorino at 39, JP at 37. Stanton swings and misses. And Giancarlo an 0 for 3. Miami gets its run. Hefner keeps his lead. (4-1) Mets. Top 7. Andres Torres is up, and Chad Gaudin misses up high with a fastball. Torres got the scoring started for the Mets with a long home run to right up into the home run porch, just his 3rd of the season. Tom Kohler got the start for the Marlins. I guess you could call it sort of an emergency start. Gaudin was slated to start but pitched in extra innings yesterday. Roller foul. Kohler went 5 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, no walks, and 3 strikeouts.
And Gaudin, an inning last night, a 1-2-3 inning, top of the 11th, and he picked up the win in the game last night.
Ball and 2 strikes. Jeremy Hefner, on the other hand, has been outstanding. 6 innings, 3 hits, a run, a walk, and 5 strikeouts. Marlins have had trouble mustering any kind of offense today.
You know, you think, where does a guy like Chad Gaudin fit in for next year? Next year he'll be 30. He certainly has experience with Tampa, Toronto, and Oakland, San Diego, Yankees, Nationals. Very serviceable in the bullpen. He's been healthy this year.
When he's had regular work, he's been very effective. There have been times where, especially early in the season, where the Marlins actually were getting very good starts, that Gaudin's services weren't needed. Marlins didn't need a middle guy for the 5th, 6th. They were just using guys in the 8th and the 9th. But when Gaudin has been able to get regular work, he's been sharp. Oh, 0-2. We remind you and invite you to stay tuned for Marlins Live. After the ball game, we'll have our annual closing day video produced by the world's most dangerous tape room, set to music. Are we going to run the blooper reel again? Probably. Why not?
Why not?
Of course.
It's closing day.
Pete Montalbano saddling in. He's
yeah, look at that.
Ralph Marquez to the right. He's watching the A's game. He's watching the A's game, and he's working on the big post-game rollout. Picture in picture, so you can follow along. I'm sure that's a copyright infringement. But the A's have not read their disclaimer yet, apparently, on their telecast, so we can do that. They have the same promo we did with the taken stolen base leaders. Ruben Tejada into center field for a base hit. A 2-out single. Tejada's got 3 hits in this ballgame. Tejada's average closing in on 290s at 289. Daniel Murphy is lined out, bounced out, struck out. Marlins won the first 2 games of the series, both 1-run wins. Little tapper up the line. Lee and Godin. Godin picks it up, tags out Murphy, and the inning is over. 7th inning stretch in Miami. 4-1 Mets. Carlos Lee, I still like the idea of crack staff t-shirts. I know we got voted down at the corporate level.
I know. I'm with you. You know how I feel.
We'll work on that. Donovan Solano, John Buck to follow. Lee coming out of his shoes on that swing. And Lucas Duda makes the catch. Now the crack staff had to come up with their postseason picks. And of course, Little Jose is the official mascot of the crack staff. Baltimore over the Reds. Well, that's a throwback to the early 70s, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yadier Molina is the MVP, and they go with Gio. Hard to argue with that. They're taking sabermetrics and WAR over a Triple Crown, and Justin Verlander as the Cy Young Award winner.
The only difference, the best argument I heard in the Buster Posey Yadier Molina is it's an easy argument because they play the same position. Is Molina a better catcher? Absolutely. But in the offensive area, not even close. Not even close in the production that Buster Posey's put out there. No offense to the crack staff. I like them going outside the box that way because he deserves some votes.
Breaking ball to Solano.
Even the Verlander pick's a nice choice. It could be Price, Verlander, or Jared Weaver.
And I can understand the Trout choice.
Sure. Crack staff actually probably had a little more time to do their homework on the picks than you and I did.
We were not really allowed to do our work on that. It was sort of last minute. Hey, Rich, Tommy, who you like in the World Series? Who's your MVP? What do you think, Cy Young? Okay, thanks. Have a good show. There's Buck.
Nice job, too, by Solano. Good to see him get a hit.
Solano with that hit
gets him to 296. Yeah, he had a chance if he had gone 3 for 3 today, I think, something like that.
He's 1 for 2.
I didn't do my math like I did the other day.
No, I think he needs 2 more hits to get to 300. Buck pulls a ground ball wide of third. Turner over there to cut it off. Dan Jennings in the bullpen. Two coming to Buck. Cousins on deck. Well, John Buck next year. The arrival of Rob Brantley means the Marlins have a good young catcher. Certainly they'd like to see him progress and catch more games. Buck has another year on his contract. A frustrating year offensively for Buck. And so John, if he is a Marlin, will be looking to bounce back.
Speaking of Rob Brantley, and I think if the two can work together, it's a nice mix. We had a tweet, can't remember who it was from, but asking if Brantley next year would be eligible for Rookie of the Year. And he will be, because you can't have more than 130 at-bats. Right now, Brantley 100 at-bats. Or have played in X amount of games, but September doesn't count prior to September. So, yes, he will be eligible for Rookie of the Year next year.
Here's Cousins now. Cousins pinch hitting, swings and misses. Jeremy Hefner's been outstanding. Marlins have 4 hits and a run. Cousins rolls that one up the middle. Murphy backhands, throws to first in time. Inning over. To the 8th, Mets for that 4-1 lead. weighed in. How about Craig Minervini? Craig?
All right, Rich, let's take a look at the picks that I came up with. Many of the same names I think some of you guys had overall in your picks, except maybe the World Series a little different. I think the Tigers have finished so strong that it's going to help them, and they're going to at least get to the division series. I'm avoiding the wild card teams because of those crazy extra games. It's a tough pick this year to take the wild card team to get in. I like Buster Posey for MVP. I'll tell you what, I strongly considered, this is totally off the board, Craig Kimbrell in that department. He's had a great year. I got to go. Kimbrell, though, will take the relief award, of course, the Rolaids fireman. So I'll go with Cy Young, R.A. Dickey. And I like Miggy for MVP in the American League. And David Price also leading the Tampa Bay Rays. He had 20 wins this year. We'll see. I get the feeling, though, that Gio Gonzalez may get the national attention more so than Dickey. What do you guys think?
Well, what I do think is that picture, Craig, was maybe from your Syracuse graduation class.
Which picture was it? I didn't see it. Let's show that picture again. After. So I was just looking at the pics.
Dan Jennings, we'll get to that picture in a moment.
I think Gio will get some votes, definitely.
What do you think about Craig Kimbrell?
Yeah, he'll get some too.
You know, that's that tough call. Call this and we'll get back to it.
Center field, Garkis Hernandez. Garkis can't get it. Into the fence he goes. The ball bounces away. Racing for third now is Justin Turner. Justin Turner overdrive there with a triple. And Garkis Hernandez,
very nice,
almost got that ball just off the tip of the glove. First triple of his career.
Wow.
Speaking of the postseason, attention everybody. You can catch all the 2012 Major League Baseball postseason on Fox, TBS, and MLB Network. The excitement begins October 5th with the wild card on TBS. Ike Davis fouls at one. Back over the screen. All right, Craig, here's the
There's
shot.
the picture. There you go.
That is back. That might be high school. I was looking at there have been some MVPs from relievers. Raleigh Fingers, Willie Hernandez also got through. Not many. It's very rare. But Craig Kimbrell's having the kind of year that, boy, that's attractive. That is a tough call. He's so dominant. I think he had 3 more strikeouts today in his 1 inning of work.
Yeah, Willie Hernandez of Jim Holly's Tigers.
Yep.
You know, the one thing about Kimbrell is they used him in a little more moderation than they did last year, which I think is a good idea after the meltdown of last year. Then maybe that costs him. If he has another 10 saves.
Yeah. Get over 50 dominating numbers, but boy, you'd start to break them down. Historic numbers, strikeouts per inning. He's got to be in consideration.
Without a doubt. Now, the Marlins have their infield in on the left side. The right side's pushed back with Ike Davis up and Turner at third. Now, Allison Williams also was contacted this morning by the authorities and asked to give her picks. A-Dub, which direction did you go?
I kind of went with my heart more than my head. I'm going with the Tigers over the Nationals in the World Series. For Cy Young, I went R.A. Dickey in the National League. And who else did I have? I had Posey for MVP, that's right. AL, Cy Young, who did I give that to? Verlander, of course, that's right. I went with my heart. And then I had Miggy, of course, for MVP. I mean, he's probably going to win the Triple Crown. Heck of a year that he had, especially late in the season with pushing the Tigers past the White Sox in the Central. So, yeah, those were my picks. And growing up in Michigan, I'm going Tigers wherever I can.
And it sounds like you're out of the Clevelander. Is that right? What's going on out there?
Well, I am. I'm out in the Clevelander because, guys, I want you to know something. The fun here at Marlins Park does not end after baseball season. The Clevelander will host NFL watch parties every Sunday from 11 to 8. They'll be open. The pool's open. They've got dancers, DJ. It'll be a lot of fun. There's no cover and no parking charge. So if you guys just can't get enough of the Clevelander, and I know there's a lot of people like that out there, you can still come on Sundays for NFL watch parties. Also available for private events if you want to keep that in mind.
We will. That one fouled back. Scott Hairston at the plate. The Mets are set up first and third. There's nobody out. It's the 8th, and New York has a 4-1 lead. Final day 2012. Dan Jennings, third pitcher to work for the Fish, is 1-1. Hairston takes a rip and pops it towards the seats and out of play. 5 innings from Tom Kohler, 2 innings from Chad Godin. Tommy, body painting. Just keep your fingers crossed she doesn't turn around, okay? Because we're all going to lose our jobs.
The stripe look.
Little pop and not too deep. And Stanton comes in and makes the catch. Turner didn't even tag up at third.
Yeah, Turner looked at his third base coach, Tim Tuffle, and Tim Tuffle said, I don't think so.
No. So Turner is still at third. Davis is still at first. Lucas Duda is at the plate. It's the 7th inning in Oakland. The A's have an 8-5 lead, but the Rangers have runners second and third and nobody out, and Michael Young is up. We'll keep you posted. That is for the American League West and a trip to the division series and a pass from the wild card game.
I guarantee Texas never even thought of that scenario.
Oh,
as
right.
they headed there. Remember, they had a big doubleheader at home. Who'd they play that doubleheader against? Before they headed to Oakland, they split the doubleheader with the Angels. And I'm sure they never thought about this scenario on this last day of the season.
No, they were thinking Yu Darvish in game 1 and go from there in the division series. Oh, goodness. Boy, having been through last night and seeing that gives you a real quick jolt. And Lucas Duda seems like he's okay.
Yeah, fortunately, this is a breaking ball that just gets away. He turns, gets him on the back of that helmet. You see the importance of those helmets. You can hear, not a fastball, but it doesn't matter. It was still on the helmet.
And one thing that we should point out too is the technology as far as batting helmets compared to 2005 when Adam Greenberg was hit, and to where we are now, 2012, batting helmets have advanced. Greenberg, of course, caught a 93-mile-an-hour fastball and caught it flush. That a glancing blow on a breaking ball. But Duda's coming out of the game as a precaution. Season epic rollout from the world's most dangerous tape room. It is a tradition here on Fox Sports Florida, and so stick around for that, or set your DVR and go about your business and come back and watch it at your leisure. Kelly Shoppach, bags loaded, 1 out. Marlins go to their bullpen a little deeper for A.J. Ramos. That one pops out of the glove of John Buck. Bases filled with Mets. Justin Turner tripled the lead off the inning. Ike Davis walked after Hairston flied out. Lucas Duda was hit. Mike Baxter will pinch run. Shoppach pops it up. Solano zigs and zags and makes the catch.
You know, Rich, so many people, and we'll try to touch on as many as possible to thank. But how about the job as we're here the last day of the season? And thanks to Claude Delorme, Executive Vice President of Operations and Events, who put so much time over the last 4 years into getting this facility to operate and as beautiful as it is.
I like the fact that for many years Claude Delorme's title was Vice President of Ballpark Development, and now his title has changed because the ballpark has been developed. He's done his job and now he's moved on to the events and running the ballpark.
Jeff King, Vice President of Facilities, and we have to always thank, because what would we do on the road or getting to places without Manny Colon, Marlins Director of Team Travel.
Andres Torres takes outside. He learned from the best in Bill Beck. Manny continuing on a proud tradition.
He had a lot to live up to.
Yes, big shoes to fill. Two outs. Ramos zips in a fastball for a strike. 94 miles an hour. The kid from Texas Tech getting his first taste of the big leagues.
Here's a guy, obviously we'll see him in spring training. Whether he makes the club out of spring, you don't know. But he's one of those guys who will fall into a category as a Donovan Solano. He's had a chance to pitch at the big league level. He's had some impressive moments, and those things are remembered. Let's say he goes to AAA next year. There's some injuries. The Marlins need to call somebody up. A.J. Ramos, he's got some experience.
Breaking ball popped up, foul, and out of play. Elvin Ramirez is becoming the Tyler Clippard of the Mets bullpen.
We've seen him every game. Obviously, Elvin has not left the building.
Not yet. You just wait, though. That one pulled foul. Update in Oakland. The Rangers had second and third and nobody out in the top of the seventh. And guess what? Oakland got out of it. It is a magical day in Oakland right now with the crowd in the Coliseum going nuts. Oakland's up 8-5. They are 6 outs away from pulling off one of the biggest comebacks and the biggest stunners in baseball history and winning the West. Little check swing. Ramos smothers it on a knee, throws a rifle shot to first in time to get Torres. Nice job by A.J. Ramos as he pitches out of trouble in the 8th. Sea Creature fun on the cameras on a Wednesday showdown. Kendall Toyota, West Kendall Toyota. Marlins and Mets finishing off the 2012 season. I'll tell you what, finishing off in style right now is Jeremy Hefner. He has struck out 6, walked 1, given up a run on 4 hits.
Well, we told you his last outing was against the Phillies, and he went 7 shutout innings against them. Little musical chairs in the outfield. Baxter in right. Hairston goes over to left. Been an interesting year for Donnie Murphy. Unfortunate at times with injuries, but Donnie Murphy has 24 hits. But of those hits, 6 doubles, 2 triples, and 3 home runs.
There's no disputing Donnie Murphy is a lot stronger than he looks. I mean, he's not a big guy, and he's not a muscular guy, but he has pop. He has an explosive swing.
That was also displayed in a short period of time. He was in AAA, the number of home runs he hit there.
Murphy doubled and scored in the 6th. Biggest challenge for Donnie Murphy is staying healthy. Goes after a 3-2 fastball and strikes out. 7 strikeouts for Hefner.
Well, pitch number 100 was a pretty good fastball by Hefner.
Again, we invite you to stay tuned for Marlins Live, brought to you by Checkers. Our end of the season rollout set to music. World's most dangerous tape room, cracked staff, bloopers, hijinks, all the fun stuff. Peterson takes high, and it's 1-0. This game, the Marlins and the Mets, is the only other afternoon game going on. We've been telling you about the Oakland game. It's 8-5 Oakland right now in the 8th. Peterson reaches out, smokes that one into center field for a base hit. 2 hits for Peterson on the final day of 2012. Dan Worthen on his way out to the mound, and he will chat with Hefner. Mets bullpen is up and rolling.
In his 8th inning, a career high for Hefner back in August. He threw 8 innings against Houston. But someone who is surely going to figure into the Mets plans next year.
It's been waived by a couple of teams, Padres and Pirates, where the Mets claimed him after the Mets had drafted him a couple times but did not sign him. Padres were the ones that drafted and signed him out of Oral Roberts. Told you that this is the only afternoon game going on right now. There are 3 ball games in the books that are finals. Nationals 5-1 over the Phils. Atlanta 4-0 over Pittsburgh. And Houston lost for the 107th time, 5-4 to the Cubs. So the Nationals have home field advantage. Houston sets a franchise record for losses in their final National League game. And Ben Sheets retires after pitching an inning in that Atlanta win over the Pirates. And Atlanta's got home field, obviously, in that wild card game. Hefner loses Gorkys Hernandez. Terry Collins comes out. And that's it for the Mets starter. He will leave with a couple runners on and 1 out in the 8th. Elvin Ramirez. Places that not many people get to see, not many people get to go.
Joe and Glenn always having a good time.
John Tui too. Bob out there. Rick, nicely done. Jonathan and Bobby.
Oh yeah.
Wait for the
big
crowd.
help. Big help.
Cassie, there she is.
Cassie got a foul ball the other day.
Queen in the castle.
And had Greg Dobbs sign it.
That's right. Well, here is Elvin Ramirez. Miami with runners first and second. Good speed at first and second. Peterson at second. Hernandez at first. You got Reyes and Stanton up against this slender right-hander. The Mets holding a 3-run lead. And Reyes smacks one into right field. That's a base hit. Peterson coming around third. Now he's held. Look out. Gorkys is hung up between second and third. And he'll be tagged out. Boy, Joe Espada was waving and then held Peterson. Gorkys Hernandez, I think, saw the initial wave and kept coming and never saw the stop sign until it was too late.
Boy, this is unfortunate because it leaves Giancarlo Stanton in the on-deck circle. Wow. With your number 4 hitter coming up with a possibility to get a run in.
You see Espada. There's the wave. And there's the stop sign. And Hernandez was around second and never saw it.
It's a tough call for a runner because you have to keep your eye on that third base coach. That isn't always easy.
And here's Stanton now. So the Marlins, instead of bags loaded 1 out, have to settle for second, or rather first and third, and 2 outs.
But still have the tying run at the plate.
That one pops out of the glove of Shopik. Peterson scores. It's 4-2. Reyes is now at second.
Probably be a pass ball. And it is. Mishandled by Shopik. And all of a sudden a 2-run game.
Now first base is open. If the Mets want to pitch Stanton carefully, they can. They may have already been doing so. Carlos Lee's on deck. And Ramirez is up and out, and it doesn't look like he wants anything to do with Stanton right now. See if he goes green light here. 3-0. Outside Park for a strike. It's 3-1. Two Mets. 3-1 to Stanton. Boy, he's hit that outside corner twice at 95.
Yeah, with 2 really live fastballs.
Look at that, right on the black, the BB&T Fox tracks. Three-two coming. Missed outside with a breaking ball. Stanton has walked. Carlos Lee comes up. $27,418 here on closing day. Another trip for Dan Warthen.
Another guy the Marlins seem to see often, Manny Acosta.
I thought you were going to say Dan Warthen.
Well, Dan Warthen, too. Pitching coach, former left-handed pitcher with Dan Warthen.
Well, Lee is a guy that is tough to strike out, drives in runs. You see that downtown skyline coming through the rolling windows. Lee waiting on a 1-0 pitch. Stanton and Reyes out there. Marlins down 2 here in the 8th. That's way outside.
See if Carlos Lee gets the green light. I would say so.
Way out, and Terry Collins is already on his way out, and that's it for Elvin Ramirez. Bags are loaded. Solano is the hitter. Acosta finishing his warm-up tosses. And on his way in. 4-2 Mets. Marlins rallying here. And the bottom of the 8th will take this time out. Solano ended it with a base hit in the center field. The Marlins walked off with a win. Final series of 2012, the Marlins have won the first 2 games. This is game 3, and this is the bottom of the 8th inning. The bags are loaded. It's 4-2 Mets, and here is Solano again. Bases filled with Fish. Solano 1 for 2. Has flied out, walked, and singled. That would be Manny Acosta, second reliever to work after a very nice start by Jeremy Hefner.
Solano coming off a base hit. Had a base hit his last time up.
Outside corner. Hefner went 7 1/3. 5 hits. He's responsible for the run in this one. And so he gets 2 runs in his column for his day's work. Acosta. Broken bat. And it ends up in the glove of Tejada. The Marlins have to settle for a run. A base running mistake may have cost him another. 4-2 Mets. Three outs. They leave them loaded in the 8th, and it's 4-2 Mets in the 9th. In Oakland, by the way, it's 9-5 Oakland, bottom 8. And the A's are threatening to add to the lead. And what a celebration that will be if Oakland wins the West on the final day of the 2012 season. Hatcher and Dunn in the bullpen, though Ramos looked sharp when he came in and bailed Jennings out of trouble in the 8th. Phillies have announced Sam Perlazo, Pete Mackanin, and Greg Gross will not return next year. So a little bit of a shakeup.
Very interesting.
In the Phillies coaching staff.
Very interesting.
Bobby Valentine today stated that he felt he didn't get the loyal treatment from his coaches, that some of his coaches undermined him at times in what obviously was a trying season in Boston. Jordany Valdespin takes a strike.
Valdespin with a big pinch hit double last night.
Swings over that breaking ball. Ramos looks sharp. He's retired all 3 that he's faced. And he gets the top of the order now. Ruben Tejada with Daniel Murphy behind him.
He's got a real nice assortment. And here's that curveball that really has Valdespin fooled.
Marlins Live presented by Checkers. The epic end of season rollout. Tejada, a 3-hit game. And this young 22-year-old Panamanian shortstop will head into the offseason having had a very successful season.
Tough shoes to fill.
Yes.
Coming in to play shortstop in New York after Jose Reyes left.
He's at 289 now after the 3 hits.
You've talked about it. He doesn't have a lot of power, just 1 home run, only 4 stolen bases. I'm sure they'd like to see him get that on base percentage up a little bit at .331 coming into this game.
They like his defense. He made 12 errors out at shortstop. Reyes, by comparison, made 18 this year for the Marlins. And Reyes had watching Reyes play shortstop every day for the Marlins, that was an upgrade.
But then Jose Reyes has given the club so much offensively. 37 doubles, 12 triples, 11 home runs, 40 stolen bases. And Jose playing in his 160th game this year.
That's the impressive thing.
Even Tejada spent time on the disabled list.
2-2. Ramos finishes off Tejada. AJ Ramos is making a nice impression on a lot of people in this final month of 2012.
You know, you see him go about his business. There's a slider. We saw the curveball to Valdespin. He's quiet. He's respectful to this game. You talk to him, and he's sharp about what he does. We look forward to seeing him in spring training.
Little tapper. Solano flips to first. 9-pitch inning for AJ Ramos. Marlins down 2. Final game of 2012. By Checkers. Feast on. By Bennett Auto Supply. Our prices bring you in, and our people bring you back. Sun setting not only on Miami, but also on the 2012 season. Final game, final half inning, unless the Marlins were to tie it. The Fish obviously would like to walk off, but to do that, they're going to have to figure out how to get a couple runs against a hard-throwing right-hander, Bobby Parnell. Parnell will get John Buck, Greg Dobbs, as the Fish try to keep this season going. Speaking of that, the Texas Rangers season has taken a real strange turn. Oakland 12, Texas 5, bottom 8. Up the middle. Holy Toledo, as Bill King would say. And Buck is thrown out. So there's one out. And here comes Greg Dobbs.
Hey, I guess you could say the same for Texas. Oakland's season has taken a huge turn. Texas's season has taken a huge turn. Different directions, though.
So unless the Rangers score 7 runs in the 9th, Oakland's going to win the West. They're going to go right to the division series. You know, the other thing about Oakland, Tommy, it's the A's record. Oakland, if they win, will win their 94th game. Only the Yankees have 94 wins. So say the Yankees lose, Oakland could end up with home field advantage in the postseason.
Incredible.
Of course, the Yankees play the Red Sox tonight. Yankees with the pride of Sunset High School, Raul Ibanez. Big come from behind win. Ibanez with a big game-tying home run and then the walk-off hit last night. Great to see a guy like Ibanez still in the game and still producing.
And listening to Joe Girardi talking about Ibanez as a real professional hitter.
Dobbs fouls it off. And the count's 1-2.
Well, for Greg Dobbs, Donnie Murphy's on deck. We will see Greg Dobbs next year. And you know his role is going to be to play if you need him. At third, maybe in left. But you also love his role coming off the bench in key situations.
Two and two. Dobbs off of Parnell. The flip. He's out. Terrific play by Davis. And Dobbs, if he was out, it was less than a step. Ike Davis, a little shovel pass. And give Parnell credit for getting over there.
And for Greg Dobbs, it's a tough way to end the season. That ball was smoked up the middle. Got a piece of Parnell.
He was out.
And he was out. It was a terrific play by Ike Davis, who is a very good first baseman.
1-3-1. And it's down to Donnie Murphy this 2012 season. Again, we invite you to stick around. Marlins Live, brought to you by Checkers. Post-game wrap, the epic post-game rollout, postseason rollout, season-ending homage, along with some bloopers, some fun, some highlights. Murphy dumps it into right field. A 2-out hit. And it brings Peterson up to face Parnell.
Donnie Murphy with a couple of base hits coming into this game in the 6th inning.
Peterson doubled back in the 1st, singled in the 8th. He's 2 for 4. The A's trailed the Rangers by 5 games with 9 left. And if they win today, they'll be the first team in Major League history to win a division or a league.
And it was late July that they were down by 13. It's similar, and not similar, but it's kind of like the run the Rockies went on. Till they kind of ran out of gas in the World Series.
Without 5 rookies in the rotation, though.
Without 5 rookies in the rotation, yeah. And some pretty big name players.
Breaking ball from Parnell is a strike to Peterson. It's 1-2. Peterson represents the tying run. Marlins had a great opportunity in the 8th. Base running mix up. Gorkis Hernandez overrunning second. They had to settle for just 1 run. Peterson swings and misses, and Shoppach flips to first. And the 2012 season is officially over. The Mets beat the Marlins. The Marlins win the series, but the Mets win the finale. And for the Fish, a 93-loss season is not what, obviously, they had hoped for. It's not what most around baseball thought was in store for the Marlins. So 4-2 the final. The Mets, remember, early in this ball game, played long ball. They hit 3 homers. Scott Hairston, the Warren Henry drive of the game. This was the 2-run shot in the 4th inning against Tom Kohler. For Hairston, he hits the 20 home run mark with that home run. Our Kendall and West Kendall Toyota final box, 4-2. Mets, 4 runs, 10 hits for the Mets, 2 runs, 7 hits for Miami. Jeremy Hefner was outstanding. He gets the win. He's 4-7. Tom Kohler's first big league start. He's 0-1. Bobby Parnell, 7th save. Again, we invite you to stick around for Marlins Live, presented by Checkers.